Sankaro narkaya eva kula gnanam kulasya cha patanti pitro yesham lupta pindo dakakriya. Hello friends, this is the 42nd shlok of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and in today's video we will understand this shlok in detail. So let's first understand its meaning. So the shlok says Sankaro, which means the offspring born by the mixture. Narkaya eva, which means is definitely for hell. Kulagnanam kulasya cha, which means and is also for the destruction of the family or death of the family or clan. Patanti pitro yesham, which means their ancestors fall into it. Lupta pindo dakakriya, which means when their pind ceremony is lost. So over here, what Arjun is saying is that the offspring that is born after the mixture of the Varna is definitely for hell and for the destruction of the family. The ancestors of this kind of an offspring, they fall into hell as their Pind ceremony, which is the ceremony for the worship of the ancestors, is lost. So over here again, Arjun actually is saying all these things from the knowledge that we get in the Manusmriti. So he is telling all of this from the Manusmriti itself. So basically, what Arjun is saying over here overall is that he does not want to fight this war because this fight is going to end up in the destruction of the Kuru clan. And with the destruction of the Kuru clan, the women of the Kuru clan will have to then go outside the Kuru clan and get polluted. And so their offspring then will be of the mixed Varn. And when they will be of the mixed Varn, they will not perform the Pindakriya or the ancestor worship for the Kuru elders, and because of that, all of the people who are fighting over here will end up in hell. So you can see over here that Arjun is quoting the Pindakriya, which is the ancestor worship. In the Manusmriti, this ancestor worship has been given a lot of focus. There are a lot of shloks which are dedicated to it, and basically, this whole Pindakriya is a process which is given as an instruction to all the people who belong to the Arya fold, and you are basically instructed to worship your ancestors during a certain period of time, which is the Pitru Paksh, and also at the death anniversary of your ancestors, and you appreciate your ancestors and you make offerings to them. And it has generally been said that if you perform the Pindakriya, then your ancestors in the Pitra Lok will be living a happy life. They'll get the highest position and they will be happy over there. And if you stop performing them, then they'll end up going down in the Pitralok and they will experience hell. So over here, Arjun is basically referring to that thing. However, as we know that this portion of Bhagavad Gita is talking about the delusion of Arjun, so clearly what Bhagavad Gita is indicating over here is that worrying too much about all these processes, all these Pindakriya and things like that is actually delusion. So the Manusmriti teachings actually has been represented as delusion over here, and we know that in the Hindu tradition, Bhagavad Gita as a scripture holds a much higher place than Manusmriti. So basically, what we are told is that in Gita, what we are told is that worrying too much about these things, which has been mentioned in Manusmriti, is basically delusion. So this clearly shows to us that the teachings of Manusmriti as such were never definite. They were not like the written on the stone kind of a thing where you have to exactly follow them. You always had this freedom of not really following it and understanding where dharma actually lies. This is very different from how the Abrahamic texts are interpreted, where all the rules that have been presented over there are basically instructions coming directly from God and they have to be followed. But over here, that's not the case. Krishna is God incarnate, and he will tell Arjun that, how come you fell for such a stupid thing, is what he's going to tell in the next, start telling him from the next chapter itself, which clearly shows that these instructions of Manusmriti were practiced, they were considered as the social traditions, but they were never absolute, and they were always given a place lower than the place for establishing dharma, basically. So that's the indication that we get from this shlok. So I hope I have explained this shlok well to you. With that, I'll close this video. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.